Before beginning my watch of Spy Family, I'd heard murmurings of the manga that sounded promising, so when spring rolled around it kicked me into second gear and pushed me into evolving my brand here on YouTube. And now, I run a full-fledged reaction channel on the side, all stemming from Spy Family's first episode. And what a fantastic display that was. Brought into being by the stellar writing of Tetsuya Endo, Anya manages to retain the traits of a child you'd expect from someone of her age. To put it simply, Anya is written like a child, in a wonderfully believable manner. Now, when I say believable, one may assume the child in question is a brat who cries or complains whenever things don't go their way. It's harsh, but one way to avoid such happenings while retaining that favored believability is to add some kind of unfortunate event to that character's backstory. Maybe have their parents die and have them living under a tyrannical ruler like Tama. Maybe have them witness the death of their mother, and you know what, why not make him deaf alongside that? Like in Boji's case. Or just make them an orphan, yeah, that works too, which is where Anya comes in. Growing up in that not-so-fortunate circumstance, with the addition of her mind-reading powers, we can infer Anya learned to be happy with what she has, and make the most of her current situation most of the time. Don't think that means she's just a boring, stoic little girl, though. In reality, Anya has a metric ton of personality. Remember when I said she feels like a real child? Episode 12, titled Penguin Park, is the perfect example of Anya just being a kid. The Forgers decide to go out for an outing, or sorry, an outing as Anya calls them, to the aquarium. But they're interrupted by their neighbors. To help her dad out and convince them that this is in fact a totally normal family, Anya, in a robotic fashion, explains and doubly states she believes they are a completely normal family in a way that could in no way be interpreted as suspicious at all. I'm kidding. Well, actually, not really. Obviously, she sucks at lying. She's a child. But it's ingenious because she's a child. Have you ever talked to a child? They say and do the most outlandish things. So then you think about it from the neighbors' perspectives, or any other time Anya blatantly gives away her ability, and you come to the realization that it is totally understandable why they, mostly Lloyd, wouldn't question her further. The reason I brought this episode up in the first place, though, was because of the second half. Later on, Lloyd wins Anya a giant penguin plushie, which she brings home and introduces Penguin, that's his name, to director Chimera, this thing, and feeds them both half of a peanuts as an initiation for Penguin into the secret organization P2. After that, she gives the newly named Agent Penguin Man a tour of their hideout, the apartment, announcing the TV is where they gain intel, the bathroom is where they recover from wounds, and oh my god, it's so adorable. But then, Anya decided to end the tour in Lloyd and Yor's room, which she never actually got into because before turning the doorknob, she was strictly reprimanded by Lloyd, who exclaimed she could have been hurt. Anya is fine with a lot of things, as I mentioned, but interrupting a new recruit's tour, Agent Penguin Man's no less, was Anya's breaking point. As rare as it is, Anya began bawling her eyes out. Thinking on their feet, Lloyd quickly grabbed Agent Penguin Man and Yor grabbed this unnamed robot, and they begrudgingly roleplayed as agents of P2 with Anya for the rest of the day. Anya even abused her power here and made them go to the candy store while still committing to this charade. Also, about that breaking point, it was addressed earlier as well in episode 6. Anya's like mob. She has a certain level of shit she can take, but once that level is breached, once she reaches 100% if we're using mob terms, she lets out her emotions in a few ways. Like we learned, she cries, or she can also straight up punch the ever-loving shit out of you, which Damien figured out firsthand. She is devious, or at least that's the way it seems. And Wit adapted Anya's hilarious facial expressions perfectly. Atsumi Tanizaki was far and above the greatest casting they could have ended up with to embody those expressions, as well as Anya's famous mispronunciations and her sentences that fall a little bit on the random side. Guys, am I crazy for loving the fact that Anya, a 6-year-old, acts like a 6-year-old? I feel like that's something surprisingly rare in anime nowadays, and I think this is a nice refresher, you know? Yeah, you know what? That actually ties the video together quite nicely, so I'm gonna end it there. I was initially gonna make this video all about how Spy Family is awesome, and I was gonna start with Anya, but I'm just gonna cap it at Anya there, you know? I think that's a nice, concise video. So, everyone, have a good day. Bye-bye.